God forbid you just stop the car until the track is definitely clear. I mean,
when have you seen a hurricane in Texas? Well, it happened that day.
What's all-star about having every driver? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Good guy, ass. Good guy, can't drive a race car. Sorry.
You're listening to the Foreign Fuel Podcast.
hello everyone, welcome back to the Foreign Field Podcast. I'm your host, Dom Caplupo, joined by Steve Ray, Sam Dooley, and Wesley Riddle. We're here for a Go Bowling at the Glen preview. Steve, the perfect time to talk about the Glen is May, obviously. Best time to have a race at Watkins Glen is May. I mean, who doesn't love muddy campgrounds and 40-degree nights? I don't know.
You know,
the
what a
most exciting
perfect time.
track, the most exciting track on the schedule. I mean, I think it's just a recipe for success.
Yeah, I think actually what would make it even better is putting this race in January. That would just make this even better.
Who needs preseason thunder at Daytona when we
Yeah.
can do it at Watkins Glen
Yeah,
and have
Watkins
it
Glen.
be an actual race? Like, it counts. It's
Yeah,
the first
exactly.
race. First race of the year.
Exactly. Forget putting the Daytona 500 first. It's going to be a January Watkins Glen race, 500 miles. Let's do it. I think that sounds great. No,
I mean,
we were talking about it before we started recording. Like, whose dumb idea was this? Watkins Glen was at a perfect point for so many years, right? You know, towards the end, middle to end of August. It was in such a perfect spot in the schedule. It seemed to always draw great crowds. You know, it was before Labor Day, so people were kind of using the last of their summer vacation or summer breaks or what have you to go to Watkins Glen. And then they moved it into the Chase and then out of the Chase. And now Mother's Day weekend, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And now seeing all the pictures that we're seeing on social media of campers getting stuck, they're having to get tractors and tow straps and everything out to pull these full-size pickups and campers out of the mud. You know, it's going to be cold, it's going to be rainy. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm not really understanding why they felt the need to do this, but thankfully, I mean, as of we're recording here on a Thursday night, that it's going to thankfully be moved again in the schedule. So there's one domino that we can check off the schedule for 2027, and hopefully it will provide a better experience for the Watkins Glens fans because they deserve better. That place, from everything I've seen on TV, that place always puts on a good crowd at least.
yeah, that race being moved to the Chase in September next year already announced. So that's one domino in the 2027 schedule is Watkins Glen's back in the Chase. Don't know what track's coming back out of the Chase. Obviously, we'll find that out as the time goes on. Wes, this race is in May because Richmond had a sellout last year and it's August date. So they felt the need to not switch it up again on Richmond to try to replicate that sellout crowd. But as someone that's living in Virginia, what's the weather like right now, say if they had Richmond this weekend?
Better than Watkins Glen. I mean, it's pretty good, I would say. It's not a guarantee. I mean, we get a lot of rain this time of year, which I feel like is the downside, but also it's the downside anywhere on the East Coast. So it it's just so much colder. I mean, like switching the dates I feel like would have made a lot more sense, but I feel like, Richmond, is Richmond SMI owned?
I think Richmond is. I want to say it's its own,
It might
like
just
it's a
be its own
NASCAR
thing.
track.
I'm not 100% sure, but just it's so strange to me that they couldn't have tried to work around the dates a little bit just to. I say that, but then again, you don't want to front load the schedule with so many short tracks because we've already got Bristol and we've already got Martinsville to kind of kick off the first half of the season. So having kind of these road courses spread around here in the middle makes a little bit more sense, maybe just in that aspect. But, if you want to get the most fans to show up at the racetrack and if you want to have the most eyes watching on TV, we've got to pick the market a little bit better for the time of year. I feel like more people would definitely be going to Richmond right now than they would for the one race, whatever month it's going to be, July or August.
Mhm.
It's for sure. I feel like going to be a sellout just because Richmond one race versus two. You can hope for a sellout, but yeah, I feel like it's not going to be packed. I mean, I hope it's packed. I hope people show up because it's NASCAR and not because of a little bit of cold weather. But unfortunately, that's the reality we live in. People are going to want to stay home for Mother's Day. It's just there's a lot of things fighting against this weekend. That's going to make it a tough draw to get to a wet, muddy Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I feel like this is just the right time to have a Saturday night Richmond race. They give the drivers Mother's Day off, and you get both best of both worlds. You get better weather in Richmond, and Richmond in August is going to be really hot. That's just the nature of the beast. And Watkins Glen, I went last year in August, and it was gorgeous. I mean, it was about 75 degrees, not really any humidity. It was perfect weather in August, and now here you go. You're going to have a really cold Watkins Glen now, and then a super hot Richmond race in August later this year. So,
I was gonna ask because I saw the stuff online that everyone saw about. Why is it so muddy? Is it like the ground's thawing or whatever because it's starting to be spring, or like I'm from the south, I don't really understand the whole that whole area's whole thing. So like, why is it so muddy?
I think it's just a heavy rains, and also just like you'll get a lot of snow throughout the winter, and then once it all melts, I mean, it's takes a while for everything to kind of dry itself out because you're not getting those like 80 degrees days to kind of dry everything out. So that wet and moisture kind of just seeps in, and there's not much in terms of letting it dry.
Yeah, I mean, for being upstate New York, I mean, I'll speak for it because I live up north too. I mean, right now we're sitting at 39 degrees and it's about the second week of May, so it's we're not getting warm weather up north. This is something that you really can't expect warm weather up north until comfortably after Memorial Day. I mean, I'm not BSing when I say that there's a chance of snow that could be happening in the middle of May. So when you have a race up north, I mean, it's just like putting a race in the deep south in the middle of winter or in the middle of summer. I mean, having a race, a day race in Atlanta in the middle of July just
That
doesn't
was
sound like
awful.
that
That
doesn't
was
sound like a good
terrible.
idea. That's
When they did that right after the repave, I literally almost passed out. Like I've been to a lot of races. Like I even used to go to the old Talladega August dates, and like those were bad. That one time, I think it was 22, like right after the repave that they did that in the middle of July. I thought my skin was melting off of my body sitting in those stands. It was awful. So
yeah,
yeah, the extremes, I get it.
yeah. I mean, even back in the day, like you brought it up, Talladega used to be in July. And that just is a horrible idea. So yeah, scheduling a race up north in the early parts of the year, just I mean, they're lucky to get away with Kansas being where it is on the schedule, that usually turns out to be good weather. But um, yeah, it's good that they're moving it back in the schedule. It's actually I wish that the car, and I'm sure we'll get into this. I wish the car put on a better race at Watkins Glen because the track itself. I mean, with all the finishes we've seen over the years, it seemingly should be a good race for a spot for the chase. Unfortunately, just this car doesn't put on a good show at Watkins Glen, which is unfortunate because the O'Reilly cars, like they do everywhere else, put on a great race here. And but- so, I mean, if you're tuning in, Saturday is going to be a great race, but I wouldn't hold your breath about Sunday.
Yeah, if you didn't get enough Watkins Glen with the next gen car, they're adding 10 laps to the race this year, running 100 laps instead of the traditional 90.
Oh, I didn't hear that one. All right, 100 laps. Wow.
Yeah, so another 10 laps there for no one to pass up
10
front,
more 10 more laps of SVG kicking everyone's ass.
just to add to his lap sled counter there. And yeah, it's just that was by far the worst race I've been to. Not because of the facility, not because of the track itself, but just the product on the track was just boring. Usually I could fudge it and say, people say Pocono's boring, but when you go to Pocono in person, it is pretty entertaining. But I can't even say that about the Glen. Like, I don't even think I saw any passing, and I sat in turn one, one of the major passing zones there. So it was, yeah, it's not something I'm very excited about in terms of the racing product. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how people run the strategies now because points mean, more than, than ever. But SVG will probably be so far ahead he could probably pit with 3 to go and still win the stages and not even have to worry about flipping stages and sacrificing any points anywhere.
Yeah, and then what I haven't really dug a lot into it, but what's this about they're adding track, like not really track limits, but they're adding like these barriers. They're trying to like not have as much runoff area in a few areas. Do you know like where I saw
I think
turn one.
it's,
Is there another part that it's
yeah,
happening?
off the carousel.
Why?
And off the
What's
carousel is basically a wall. It's not even like just a few tire packs. It's like a tire wall
what
off of
what
there.
what's the need for it?
I don't know. I guess what we've done for the forever is just not good enough, and they think they could manufacture better racing, but
So
I
what? So what if a car hops the curb and and wrecks themselves? That's their fault. So now
well
what?
so
Now they're
now
going to be
now
side
someone's
by
just gonna
side in the
rub
carousel.
someone's
Yeah.
gonna rub someone out into the tire barrier. Yes.
If a guy's getting ready to pass you, just shove him out into the tire barrier, have him go head on to the tire barrier, and then go on with your day. That's just why. Why do we need to start hindering the racing? Like at this point, like way down, I think it's like at turn six where they used to have the sand trap. Just bring the sand back too while we're at it.
I heard one complaint was that it was an instant caution when that happened, but it doesn't seem like NASCAR is too upset when we get cautions, especially at a road course that needs them, honestly. The saving grace for some of these is it turning into chaos at the end with late race restarts. Because I will say, you don't get that Allmendinger Marcus Ambrose battle without a green white checker. The Kyle Busch one, you needed chaos in 2012 where Bobby Labonte laid down oil all over the racetrack. But honestly, there's not many Glen races where it's like that whole race was like memorable. We just think about the finishes and the massive wrecks that come out of this track. And I think that's another reason why they did it was to try to prevent a big wreck like they had last year in the O'Reilly race. But I don't know. I think we're reinventing the wheel and it seems kind of pointless.
Yeah, looking at this, wow, this is a picture that I pulled up. If you're watching on the YouTube, this is a picture that I pulled up that Anthony Alfredo posted on Twitter, I believe. Yeah, Twitter. The tire packs are like they're like right there. Like there's no runoff at all. Like you're eliminating, like maybe not fully eliminating, but you're pretty well eliminating a big passing area on a track where your car has had some pretty bad recent experience with trying to pass. So that's definitely interesting.
And you watch, someone's gonna hit them in practice, and then they're gonna either get rid of them or move them back like 50 yards to where there's runoff again. And just like how they threw those tire barriers in at the Roval the very first time, and then when people were crashing in practice, then they're like, oh, we should probably move these. And I feel like it's every time they set up these random tire barriers, they end up moving them before the race happens on Sunday. So I could only imagine what's going to happen this weekend. They've already said drivers might try to like inch them out and like just kind of scrub up against them to keep widening the groove out because apparently they're just that movable, which is kind of crazy, kind of like they did at Sonoma back in the day when they had the tires in turn
Oh, and the
11
hairpin, yeah.
and they would just drivers would keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting them and it make more room under the curb in turn 11. That might be what these guys try to do this time too because there's really no penalty that they're going to give for running wide.
Yeah, and especially with these cars, going to a more composite body, you would rub, think about the previous generations of cars when it was actually sheet metal, fabricated sheet metal. Any little rub up against a wall or tire pack or something like that would for sure, you know, risk having a tire rub or something like that. But now with how durable these cars are, I think really the worst thing you got to worry about is breaking a toe link against them. That's really what you got to worry about is if you hit it. It seems to be when you hit the wall too hard with these cars, it's the toe link that's the first thing that's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Watkins Glen, we'll talk more about it here just in a little bit. Want to just touch on Texas because we didn't have an recap episode this week. Uh, yeah, Chase Elliott gets his second win of the season. A little more convincing this time than his Martinsville win. I can't say he didn't deserve this one. It was between him and Denny Hamlin again, and like I told you, Steve, every time it seems like Chase Elliott just when he finishes first, Denny Hamlin is usually the guy that's finishing second. I think in Elliott's 23 wins, Hamlin's finished second 6 times, I believe. So it seems like wherever Chase Elliott's good, Denny Hamlin's going to be the guy that's keeping him honest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, obviously Chase has a long way to go before he catches Denny in the career wins. Denny's up to 62 or
61.
61. So he's got a long ways to go to get to 61. But yeah, I mean, it nine car had great speed really all race. He was obviously, you know, top three car all day, arguably one of the best. But yeah, it was just nice to see that they finally put a complete race together, leading laps. Um, and this finally felt like that, they didn't back into a win, didn't luck into a win, didn't didn't have to rely on the Toyotas committing friendly fire on each other like they did at Kansas last year. I mean, this was truly like they had a great car and went out and won the race. Didn't have to worry about Denny Hamlin spinning himself like he did at Texas a couple years ago. Um, so that was nice to see. And now already, almost a third of the way into the season, having 2 wins already, and they're sitting top five in points. Like they keep this up through the summer months, and they have some good tracks coming up. Chase historically has been good at road courses. They got Charlotte coming up, Nashville after that, so all good tracks for Chase Elliott. Um, I start to circle kind of the few weeks around Pocono, San Diego, Sonoma. Making sure that they capitalize on that. But I think that they'll be fine. I think they're setting themselves up for a good run towards the end of the regular season, getting themselves seated for a good spot in the chase. And yeah, I mean, it was really, really good to see. No calls to fire Allen this week, so we can kind of put that one to bed for at least another week. Um, but yeah, I mean, they just got to keep it up. And right now, they're definitely Chase Elliott and the nine team. They're the best of the Hendrick bunch right now. Um, Obviously, we're about a year, maybe a little bit over a year now after Kyle Larson's last win, which is kind of a head scratcher to think about that it's been a year since Kyle Larson's last one. Something seems off with William Byron and the 24 team. They're just kind of missing the mark and they're just real average right now. Obviously, Alex Bowman and the 48 team, they're still trying to get back in the swing of things. It's been nice to see Alex Bowman with a couple back-to-back top five finishes, so they're slowly building and trying to salvage whatever they can out of their season. But for sure, Chase Elliott and the nine team, really for about the past, even going back, towards the later half of last year, they've been the best Hendrick team. So it's nice to see, and hopefully they can keep it up for sure.
Yeah, and you look at Chase Elliott sitting 8 points behind Hamlin for second in points. You'd probably expect him to jump Hamlin here at Watkins Glen in points to at least get him in the second. And then really it's like a dogfight between those two for second. Blaney's comfortably in fourth. Then you got Busher Hocevar, Todd Gibbs, Larson, Keselowski, Byron, Bubba Wallace all kind of grouped together as well. Now, Wes, is there like what I think I asked you maybe like a month ago, and there was a little bit of concern you said about Larson about not winning, but now we've hit that year mark now. I mean, you think there's panic in that five team sitting eighth in points, another wreck, another DNF, and not really like having the best car like at all any of these races.
Yeah, Hendrick, they have a new, well, I guess all of Chevy has a new body this year. And maybe it's just taking Hendrick a little bit more time to figure it out because of whatever regimen they've got out of their workshop. Yeah, Chase is definitely having the most success right now, which is good. I feel like we need it just to have, the most popular driver doing good. We need that for every sport. So it's great here that Chase is having some success. But yeah, the rest of the guys are a little bit down. Larson, definitely the biggest shocker, I feel like, of the three, just because we expect him to, we expect Byron to be consistent. We expect Bowman to be consistent, but not competing on or for wins as much as a Kyle Larson would. So, I think there's concern. I think there's concern already for a couple different reasons. I think it's mainly Larson just, the hunger that he has for winning and just with how frequent he can win when he's not or even in a cup car like in previous years. And then also the fact that he's sitting in eighth in points. That's not going to probably be enough. Even, they looked at the hypotheticals, right, for a champion, and a large percentage of the time, if not all the percentage, majority, they came from the top six in points. So for Larson, he's a guy that could make up the deficit, but it's going to be extremely difficult, and he would need a remarkable finale, final 10 races to be able to make up a difference on some of these guys that are consistent, like Chase Elliott, like Denny Hamlin, like Chris Buescher, like Ryan Blaney. Like they're going to be the guys getting stage points and finishing well. I don't know if he finishes eighth in points, come the end of the year, if he's not able to make it up, could leap ahead of these guys just because of the inconsistency. So he's going to have to get on top of it. And the frustrating thing is, I feel like he is on top of it, but mistakes like he made at Texas are not going to be able to get you into the top six in points, especially if he's underperforming uh, a little bit. Not drastically, but just enough to where he's not getting back into victory lane.
And mistakes and some bad luck to Joey Logano, Sam. Falls outside the top 16 in the points.
Yeah.
So right now, it's going to be May 8th when this episode comes out. Does Joey Logano make the chase?
I think he makes the chase. I'll give you that. Do I think he gets into that top six that Wes was alluding to?
Oh, there's no shot.
There's
in hell.
no shot.
He's 90,
let's focus on top 10.
He is 98 points behind Hocevar in sixth.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that he may make the chase, but he's not winning the championship.
Yeah.
Because this has just been such a bad stretch. And actually, I'll do an abridged Dooley's W of the week. 'Cause what the fuck ass was Cole Custer doing? Like, I understand that there's some market break there from Joey. Like, you got to react a little better than that. He's probably focused on the four other lanes of cars that are over to his right, and he's not looking over there. But it's like, I saw that, and it was like if someone would miss their exit and then stopped, but they're past the exit in the right lane. So he just stopped in the middle of the interstate, and that's what it looked like with Cole Custer. So that was a little bit of bad luck that Joey ran into Cole Custer, stopping after his box. But just the season in general has been not great. It's been a mixture of bad luck, putting yourself in bad positions, having a race where you were literally 3 laps down just on pace. Like, it's all kind of culminating, and now he's outside of the chase by, you said he's 98 points outside of 6th. He's what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's
7 out of the chase.
7 out of the actual chase. But you're chasing
Briscoe,
who is only moving up every single week. shit, Cindric's looked better than Logano, honestly, through this much of the. Obviously, he's 15th in points. He's above him in points, but golly, it's looked.
I mean,
it's
you got
looked
another
bad.
23 points ahead of Cindric to Daniel Suarez.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Logano right now sitting, he's at 235. Suarez at 271. So that's 36 points behind 14th.
Yes.
I mean, you're starting to get up close to that
you start
race
you start to
range.
do the math, and it's not great.
It's another 20 points ahead of
If it
Suarez to Bell in 13th.
if it keeps going like this, I don't think he does make the chase. Like, he is not a chase car right now. I have faith that he'll turn it around at some point, but I mean, that's no guarantee. That may just be wishful thinking for me as a Joey Logano fan. I don't know. But like, then you look at the names behind him. Like, this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if Ross Chastain, SVG, and maybe even Allmendinger jumping. Allmendinger's a little too far back. SVG and Ross, they definitely could, because Ross is 20 points back. Like, if Joey puts up another stinker and SVG goes out and dominates all the stages and wins, he'll definitely jump him. And Ross has been pretty good. He's got a pretty good average finish at Watkins Glen. And, Ross could end up jumping him too. So, like, there's more scenarios, like, looking at this point situation. The scary part is there's more scenarios where he goes down than that he goes up, unless he absolutely turns into a different animal. Like, if he thinks it's the playoffs for the next 20 races, because for him it basically is. You have to go out and win like 3 races in this next few just to even get sniff having a chance at getting to where you can win this championship. Because right now he's so far out that it ain't gonna happen if this keeps happening. Like, he's gonna have to rattle some off. This has become a do or die situation for him in May.
I'll be curious too if like what Roger Penske thinks if Austin Cindric is able to beat Joey in the points this year. And I know that doesn't tell like the whole picture, but obviously is Cindric having one good year over Joey Logano going to be enough for him to be able to keep his contract, especially if Cindric finishes 15th or 16th in points and Joey doesn't make the playoffs? Everybody will say, well, Cindric finished ahead of Joey. That should be deserving of a seat. But is that really going to be enough? So there's still so many questions, silly season wise, that are going to be interesting. And I feel like, that's one in particular that's just so interesting because Joey is a multi-time champion. He's a multi-time winner. He's one of the greatest the Cup Series has ever seen. But, Austin Cindric in a contract year is finishing top 10 once in a while, 12th. Is that going to be good enough? Even, if he makes the playoffs, but if he beats Joey Logano, is that going to be enough for Cindric to be able to stay around?
Yeah, on Logano for a second, the thing that's concerning to me, I mean, even Ryan Blaney talked about it this week with Dale Earnhardt Jr. that on the mile and a half, that's really seems to be where they're struggling at right now. Well, look at the upcoming schedule. I mean, Logano, not the greatest road course racer, so obviously we're at Watkins Glen. Then it's Charlotte, a mile and a half. Then it's Nashville, which isn't quite a mile and a half, but Blaney's good there. Joey had that 5 overtime
Spectacular race,
terrible,
wonderful.
terrible.
That was a great.
Horrible.
Remember that, Dom? That was fun. That was fun.
horrible.
I remember I had fun. You didn't have fun. I don't think.
It
I
was
don't think
fun
anyone
until-
next to me was having fun.
It was
all
fun
of
until
you,
the last hour.
all of you were lined up and not having fun, and I was
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
I could have jumped from our seat in like row 55 to the track. I was so excited when we won that fucking friggin' race. Like,
Yeah.
holy cow!
You look at Michigan and Pocono after that, which are it's kind of 50-50 at what's going to show up there. Then you have 2 road courses, San Diego, Sonoma. You have Chicagoland, a mile and a half. So really the next race that I'm seeing that Logano has an opportunity to capitalize on a lot of points is all the way in Atlanta, which is over 2 months from now. So, man, it's going to be hard for them. I mean, it's going to be a struggle for them to hang around 16th, I feel like.
It definitely could get a lot darker before you see the end of the tunnel.
At what point does Paul Wolf become like the guy out? Because what has Paul Wolf done for Joey Logano in terms of prepping a fast car for him on a consistent basis? Has that really ever happened?
No, like season long, it's been. I mean, you always chalk it up to like, oh, Joey just gets better in the playoffs or whatever. and you just say that. But like us, like looking at it season long, no, it's been like because like I said, there was a race where they showed up unloaded with a Penske car and were the 35th place car 3 laps down within the first like stage. Like what are we doing here? Um, I don't want to call for Paul Wolf's job because I but yeah, at a certain point there has to be a conversation because the speed just seems to not be there consistently, like you said, and it just seems like it has been a lingering problem because you look at every single regular season, um, and even into like the playoffs where he won the last one in 24, looked like shit, and then he got a second life from the DQ, and then all of a sudden that's when he ended up fluking his way into that championship, and you can thank him for making the playoff system go away. But like it just feels like it's really hit or miss. Like if I see that he's fast on a weekend, I'm like, oh, he's gonna win. But that happens once in a blue moon. Like I'll see that once a season where I'll see him unload. I'll look at practice. I'll look at qualifying, and I'll be like, and then I'll see like the start of the race, and I'm like, oh, he's got the fastest car. He's gonna win. I can't remember the last time that Joey showed up and just had the fastest car. So you're right. Like it at a certain point, when does it become Paul Wolf's problem? But right now, that just whole team in general, I don't know. I don't know whose head's gonna be on the chopping block first, but it's someone's gonna be fired soon if that keeps going the way it is.
Since 2023, Logano's led the most laps in a race 9 times. Do y'all want to take a guess at how many of those were not super speedways?
I'm gonna say 3.
I'll go like 2. I'll Price is Right you.
All prices right, both. You'll say 1.
And Steve takes it once.
Let's go.
New Hampshire
New Hampshire last year.
last year. That was it. So
he
every
didn't.
other
So
race.
he didn't even lead the most laps in the 2 Phoenix races. He won the championship.
Nope.
He did in 22.
Oh,
but
you
not
said
in 24.
23.
So
Okay.
from
Yeah,
23, yeah, 23 to this upcoming Watkins Glen
Mhm.
race, 9 times he's led the most laps. 8 of them came on super speedways, including Atlanta. 1 of them came on a non-super speedway, New Hampshire last year. Like
I can tell you,
again, doesn't
it
tell
feels
the full
like that.
picture, but that's like that's just not speak when you speak to fast cars. Like fast cars are going to lead laps, be up front, and get more wins. Logano, he can get a finish, but he's not up there dominating races. He's not showing up and contending for the wins on a regular basis, and that's what he needs.
I can tell you as a Logano fan, it feels like that. It feels like you show up Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. It doesn't feel like, obviously it doesn't feel like I'm cheering for an underfunded car or anything, because like he's still up there top 10. Like he drives above kind of what the car is a lot of times, but as a Joey Logano fan, it feels like he's had one race where he's dominated in the last 2.5 seasons, because it's just been there was a certain point where I would show up to watch the race, or I'd watch the race on TV expecting him to win or expecting him to be a top 5 car, and it feels like in that window that Wes is talking about exactly what that stat is. It's like he's just a plate guy now, and he'll will his way to a top 10 finish every once in a while. We're trying to consistently be in the top 15, and that's kind of what he can do. And when you have a start like this, you're going to have to start being the best car everywhere to try and have a chance.
Yeah, it's getting uglier every week for the 22 team, and yeah, just races and mistakes like that, just circumstances can't go against you like that. And I promise you, Joey Logano is not sitting here saying, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm content with just being mid-pack and then showing up for the last 10 races and then being good." Joey Logano wants to win every week, and something's got to change in that 22 team, because the 12 team kicks their ass every week, no matter the racetrack, no matter what the circumstances are. The 12 team is always faster than the 22, and sometimes you can't even imagine that those cars are built in the same building, because that's how far off those two the 12 team is from the 22, and the 22, even though he's got 3 championships, hasn't been the flagship team honestly since the next gen car. It's been the 12 team every year, every week, just faster. And with Blaney getting a long-term contract extension at Penske, it seems to feel like, I mean, Logano isn't going to go anywhere because you're not going to let go of a guy that's won you 3 championships like that as long as he's got sponsorship. But yeah, something's got to change, and I think Paul Wolf's going to be, honestly, I'll say it right now. I think Paul Wolf's done at the end of this year, if he even makes it to the end of the season as the crew chief. Honestly, like I think Penske will give him the respect and give him like a competition role, like higher up role, but I can't imagine him being on the top of the 22 pit box by season's end. I really can't, because you could one win's not going to save your season this year, just not. So Logano could go out and win 1 or 2 races, but it's like, okay, now what are you, 13th in points? Just not the level you're looking for if you're Logano, a 3-time champion. So that was a long talk on Logano. We could talk about Christopher Bell, just some bad luck. That team's gonna have to get it going here. We'll talk about that more. We'll see. We'll probably talk about him in the preview here with the Glen. So let's get into some segments here. Watkins Glen, Wes. Let's kick it off with Wesley's way back moment.
Well, I guess I have to ask what year did I go with? That's always the kicker before we start.
Oh, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 2000.
2012 is that year, and
That is that year.
Okay.
That is
That's
the
the year.
race.
yeah, 2012. That's my guess.
I would say 96, but I feel like that's a little too early.
Oh man, I thought about 96. None of the above. Definitely bias coming out here, but I had to go back again for all of us. August 12th, 2001. Go back to another race from the 2001 season. That just for me is so nostalgic because that's when like my earliest childhood memories were like on a weekly basis versus more sporadic like they were in the 90s where I was just kind of, oh, I was here, oh, I was there, watching this race, watching that race. But yeah, 2001 was like the first year where it's like every week was kind of continuous in my head. Uh, Interestingly, the trucks ran on Friday night. Scott Riggs won that. The O'Reilly series did not. Then the Busch Grand National series, they actually raced at Watkins Glen back in July. They had a standalone event a whole month before, which is kind of strange. We don't see that a whole lot. Definitely not anymore unless they're doing like, well, there's none. I was thinking of Portland, but they're not going back to Portland and no other series ran in Portland. So kind of strange, but I guess they had their own standalone event. The July Busch race was actually won by Ron Fellows in the 87 for Joe Nemechek. And that entry was actually what he entered in for the Cup Series, where he was in the 87 for Joe Nemechek as well. I wanted to mention Ron because he was trying to go for 2 in a row. Win the Busch Series race and win the Cup race in the same year, because he had came in a multi-time winner. I think he had swept 3 out of 4 Watkins Glen races there in the Busch Series and was just on an absolute tear. And then in Cup, he was doing great too. But this was the era of the road course ringers where, you had a lot of people that would step into cars that you didn't really expect. Some of them included 2 interesting ones. Jason Leffler in the '01 and Robert Presley in the '77 both were stepped out for 2 replacement drivers. So Scott Pruitt took over the '01. That was mainly because Jason Leffler had 3 DNFs, including at Sonoma. So they wanted to have somebody a little bit more experienced in the car because they just didn't. I don't think they put their full trust in Jason at that time. And then Robert Presley just wasn't known for being a road course guy. He was signed for the full year, but Jasper just decided to kind of take control of that. And they, in the, I guess that would have been the '77, they put Boris Said in. So 2 road course guys there. You had Anthony Lazaro, who was one of the best karters probably ever to live. Anthony raced in the Busch Series for PPI Motorsports, which was the same team that I believe Scott Pruitt ran for in 2000, both in 2000. So you have 2 road course ringers, Cup and the Grand National Series where they're both competing for the same team, and now here they are in the same race. Anthony, I guess if people don't remember, for Legacy Motor Club, the CEO is Cal Wells. Cal Wells is the one that started PPI. So just a lot of relationship there in the karting world, the sports car world, and a guy like Anthony Lazaro stepping in. But also in the race, you had Brian Simo in the 90 for Junie Dunleavy. You had, gosh, just a lot of cool names to go look back on. A lot of classics. This was Robbie Gordon, his one of his first starts, and maybe the first start he had for the 31, where Mike Skinner was stepped out. I think he had an injury. I don't remember what happened that for that reason for Robbie Gordon to step in, but he was in the 31. From the pole, Dale Jarrett was able to qualify up front. And for him, and this was one of those races where you did not want to be the leader because something bad was really going to happen to you. And Dale Jarrett was the first to bite the bullet. He led the opening 17 laps and then lost it in turn one. And this is kind of where his season and probably last shot at a championship fell apart after this race. He had two spins, both in the first corner, uh, pretty just kind of randomly. I think he just wheel hopped two different times, and sure enough, it just kind of damaged his whole day. The other famous situation that happened, a lot of people forget about, is the Robbie Gordon. He was leading this race, and he had a great shot later on. I skipped Ron Fellows, but Robbie Gordon, the famous fire in the cockpit, where I guess the broadcast at the time, they had a box in for the GPS to show telemetry on the television. And I guess under one of the pit stops or something happened, something caught the box and caught on fire and literally took him out of the race. And then two, or maybe the year after, I think that's that video where you see, I can't think of, I'm blanking on his name. They give him the die cast of the car that's caught on fire, and he's like kind of hesitant to take it. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but they give him a die cast of his burnt car as an apology, and they're like, "We're sorry," but because it was TNT, it was TNT's telemetry box that caught on fire. So the next year, TNT gives him this like replica car as like, a, "Hey, we're sorry," and then Robbie makes some joke about insurance, and anyway, yeah, just a bummer for Robbie Gordon because he like before the New Hampshire win he had at the end of the year where he bumped Jeff Gordon out of the way, this could have been his first win and it just didn't materialize. But I skipped Ron Fellows in between. He had an axle break from the freaking lead, and Ron Fellows could have had a sweep here in the Cup. This would have been, and definitely was, the closest he'd ever been to getting into victory lane in the Cup Series. So it's just a bummer. Granted, he's won 6 times, 2 in the trucks, 4 in the Grand National Series, but just a bummer because this was definitely the shot. I feel like after Dale Jarrett has had his issues that we could have saw Ron Fellows get the victory lane, but other than that, not a whole lot happened. I mean, Watkins Glen stays pretty green. You don't see a whole lot of wrecks unless it's something massive. Um, the I was trying to think back of who wrecked. I think Ward Burton had some issues. Rusty Wallace, I think, had the first issues of the day where there was something wrong with his car. I think overheating issues. And then there was one wreck that happened with Brian Simo, another road course ringer that was in the race where he got taken out. I think by Kurt Busch because Sterling Marlin stalled on the backstretch. But overall, the race came down to some strategy, just with all the top guys crashing out or something mechanical happening, and it came down to Jeff Burton, who was not really a road course guy, and Jeff Gordon. And sure enough, they ended up duking it out. Gordon was able to hold the lead for the last 3 laps after a restart, and almost lost it because Elliott Sadler was involved in a wreck on the last lap, or 2 laps to go, and then his car is literally sideways like cattywampus as he's driving down I guess the long chute before the last 2 corners, and almost cost Jeff Gordon a shot of the win because he didn't have a corner entry. So Jeff Burton almost got his what would have been probably one of his only road course victories, but Jeff Gordon was able to get the win here in August, and pretty cool to see. Real quick, Dale Jarrett again from the pole finished 31st. Jeff Gordon, who started 13th, wins. Jeff Burton second. At the time, Jeremy Mayfield had his best career finish on a road course in third. Ricky Rudd, one of the best road course guys to do it, fourth. and Todd Bodine, who had his best Cup road course finished in 5th.
As long as he didn't pick 2007.
Oh, don't remind me of 2007.
Yeah, this was like the downfall of Jeff Gordon at Watkins Glen, because there's no Jeff Gordon highlight you want to go back and really watch from this point on. So
03 gets clobbered off the last corner after running out of
that was
gas.
and he got wrecked on the first corner.
Yeah.
He got spun out in the first corner.
2012 wrecked on the last lap, last corner.
2009 almost died.
2014
10, was it 10?
Yeah, 09 I think.
Thought it was 09, yeah, with Sam Hornish and Jeff
Casey
Burton. Speaking of
Kane.
Jeff Burton,
Yeah.
Casey Kane.
Yeah,
Golly,
2014 had the fastest car, then the battery died on him.
died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go back and watch one last Jeff Gordon good win and good
Yeah.
performance at a road course, that's not Sonoma. Go back and watch this race, and then never watch another Watkins Glen race, because then you're just going to see Tony Stewart on your TV all the time, because this is Stewart and Ambrose and Kyle Busch. So we love you, Jeff.
I was going back and watching the 1995 highlights where Mark Martin got his three-peat at Watkins Glen, but just seeing, I didn't realize how close Wally Dallenbach actually was to winning.
I actually meant to bring that up because Wally for this race DNQ'd. He didn't qualify. And he had 2 really good years. 94, I think, was the other, or it might have been 93, but then the 95 year, yeah, he was right there. Wally was so good when it came to the road courses.
Man, good times as a Jeff Gordon fan at Watkins Glen until 2001, and then all downhill, like Wes said, after that for Gordon and Watkins Glen. Arguably, you said it was a curse to be the leader. Well, Jeff Gordon ended that race as the leader, and I guess the curse just lingered for the next 14 years on him. That's what happened. Well,
I had to go back and look just real quick. His best finish after the 2001 season at Watkins Glen was 9th.
jeez.
He only had 2 top 10s at Watkins Glen after that last win. So if you want to talk depressing, that right there for a Jeff Gordon fan is depressing.
Man. Well, Steve, how depressed are you going to make us here with some trivia?
Oh, let's see. Depends how easy do I want to take it on Sam. Do I want to include pre-2000s? Or do we keep everything 2000 and newer? I'll play nice.
I already won one. I won one. Okay, I needed one. I'm Joey Logano in this situation in the playoffs. I need one win.
Yeah, you're hanging on by fringe.
I'm hanging. I don't care. One win. That's it. That's all I need.
Well, let's see. I'll play nice. We'll go 2000 and newer. So nothing before 2000. But we'll just roll down the list. There's been a whole slew of drivers that have won at Watkins Glen since 2000. So we'll just kind of keep the same rotation. We'll go Sam, West, Dom. Our standings. Dom's still at 7. West trying to close the gap. He's got 3. Sam with that 1 that he mentioned on the board. So we're just going winners, Cup race at Watkins Glen since 2000. If you mention a driver, that'll count if they're a multi-time winner. So, Sam, do you have a driver?
Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yes. Actually, our most recent winner, SVG 2025. Let me make sure I get this. Should I get this marked down here? All right. Sam's on the board with 1. Wes, do you have a guess?
I talked enough about the one I just said that it was pretty much freebie. So, but I'm going to pass on him and just let Dom say that one. So I'll say probably the most winner or the most wins, Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Tony Stewart, winner of 2002, 2004, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, Tony Stewart was real good at Watkins Glen. So Wes is on the board. Dom, do you want to take the low-hanging fruit?
Yeah,
I can save it for Sam.
Yeah, I'll go Jeff.
For later.
Gordon.
Yeah, go with Jeff Gordon. Like Wes mentioned, after 2001, it was pretty dismal for Jeff Gordon fans at Watkins Glen. But all right, on to round two. Everybody with a point sitting on the board. Back over to you, Sam.
Chris Buescher.
Chris Buescher. Yes, 2024 winner at Watkins Glen, beat SVG. Great call by Lee Diffie, by the way. That was an electric finish. That was great. Yes, Chris Buescher, 2024 winner at Watkins Glen. Throwing it over to Wes.
I'll go down under. Say
Down
Marcus
under,
Ambrose.
Marcus. All right. Yeah, 2011 and 2012. 2012, I put it out on Twitter the other day. Top 5 finish. For me, top 5 finish in NASCAR history. That race just was awesome. Kyle Busch fans, our buddy Dalton Good, close your eyes at that one because Kyle Busch fans hate to see that race. So.
Hey, it's another race just like this past week where he just turned himself across someone's nose.
Yeah,
Look at
imagine that. Imagine that. Hey, but don't worry, he'll go in and he'll throw the SMT data at it and say that, it wasn't his fault. All right, Dom, over to you. See if you can get your second driver on the board here.
Yeah, we'll go with AJ Allmendinger.
AJ Allmendinger, yes, his first career win, 2014. That was another great finish. Him and Ambrose going at it. All right, everybody at 2 apiece. Back over to Sam.
William Byron.
William Byron is the. You're just going right down the recent winners.
If I can't, I'm stupid when I get deep. I'm doing what I know. I can remember the last couple, so I'm taking the ones that I know.
Yeah, because you got 2025, 4, and now 2023 winner William Byron. But yes, he was. All right, Wes, over to you.
I'll take James.
As in James Dennis Hamlin?
That is correct.
Yes, James Dennis Hamlin.
2016?
2016, yep. 2016, Denny Hamlin did win. All right, Dom, your driver got taken there.
Yeah, I'll go Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, yeah, back when he was relevant still. 2015.
Seems like a shot. That felt like a stray, but okay.
That was a stray from left field, and I'm not even going to apologize for it.
That was kind of mean. Okay, but I'll allow it.
It's like the whole. Well, whatever. We're not going to get into basketball. I was going to throw a Stephen A. reference out there, but
don't even worry about it.
All right.
Well, while we're on the topic of our favorite drivers, I'm going to go awesome Chase from the same place, Chase Elliott.
Absolutely. Back-to-back winners in 2018 and 19. His first career win came in 2018. Backed it up with another win in 19. So
also an awesome moment with his first career win with him getting pushed back.
Yep. That was getting pushed back by Jimmy Johnson.
That one sticks in my mind too.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, as we're entering into Wes's next pick here, Sam's sitting at 4. Wes and Dom both trying to match them at 4.
Am I wrong? Did Lee Diffie commentate old Martin Truex? I'm saying Martin Truex, but I feel like Lee was on the call.
He was. He did have a race at Watkins
Was that the
Glen.
one? I feel like it was that race, but I could be wrong. It might have been a different race. It might have been Chase. I thought it was Lee though.
Let's see. Chase's first win in 18 was Rick Allen. You might be right because I remember in 17, Lee Diffie was on the call for a few races, like Michigan. He was there for Kyle Larson's win. So you might be right on
this
that
race. Yeah.
But you are right. Martin Truex did win in 2017, and he is on the list. So there's Wes's 4th correct answer. What say you, Dom?
It's got to go Larson.
Larson, yep. Back-to-back winners in 21 and 22.
Definitely the cleanest of finishes in 22. I mean,
yeah, no controversy whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right, everybody sitting at 4 apiece. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. We got 12 drivers off the board. So, do you have another guess there, Sam?
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, yes, in 2013 and 2008. Kyle Busch is off the board. Over to you, Wes.
I got me wondering if I'm not. He's not my guess. I don't think Kurt Busch ever won there because I have no memory of him winning aside from Sonoma. Like that might have been his only road course win. Um, I'll take. I'm trying to think of what years higher we haven't done, but that might give it away. So don't say the years. Take Juan Pablo.
Juan Pablo,
2010.
yes. 2010, spot on. Yep. Juan Pablo in 2010. Yes, he is off of the board here. Getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
I mean, you brought the name up earlier, but Robbie Gordon in 03, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
That was before the Sonoma, or right after.
Robbie Gordon, yep, 2003. You'd be correct there. So, just looking at our list here, I think we are down to the final 2 drivers. Make sure my arithmetic is correct there. I think it is. I think we're down to our final 2 drivers here. Sam, do you want to take a guess? I'll leave you with this. Neither one of these drivers are active.
Okay. Shoot.
I don't even know what years we have left.
I think I know one.
I'm gonna throw one out there. Kevin Harvick.
Yes. Do you want to take a guess at the year?
Did he do it early in his career? Was this in the 29 car?
Yeah.
It was. Oh, never mind.
Like 2007 or something?
2006.
Mm.
2006 in the beautiful GM Goodwrench car. All right, Wes, we're down to our final driver.
I'm like, I have no clue what years left. I mean, I think the year left is 04.
No, that was a Tony Stewart win.
That was, of course, Tony freaking Stewart.
Oh, wasn't that the one he had to not?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't
Didn't
think we
he?
can
Didn't he have a
go
little
there, can we?
accident? A little sick.
Yeah.
He's definitely that stretcher really helped. Oh gosh. Oh, what other year? You can't tell me the year, can you?
Well, if nobody else knows the year.
Then it goes to Sam.
I think
But
I might have a
I might
guess.
know, but I'm also because I said Kurt Busch. It's not Kurt Busch. I like for some he's stuck in my head because of Kyle. I'm gonna say oh no, I thought Stewart won that. Am I thinking of the year? What year did that happen? 05? No.
05
I'm
was
gonna
also a
say
Tony Stewart win.
okay. I don't remember what year. Is this the restart scandal with Ryan Newman?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Does anybody else want to take a guess?
I think it's 2000. I think that's what we need.
Oh shoot, I didn't know. Yeah.
And I want to say, like, I've watched like a 2000 year in review, and I want to say it was like a freaking like random winner, like Steve Park, maybe that was like he led like 50 something laps. I'll go Steve Park.
Is Steve Park could be a guess?
That's who I'll guess.
The Batteries Plus owner. Well, you'd be right because it was Steve Park in 2000.
If I didn't pick the year 2001, I would have known that we were doing 2000.
Nothing easy. Huh?
I was thinking we were doing 2001 too.
Dom's just gonna pull Steve Park out of his ass, and we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, just act all nonchalant, like
Awesome.
you know,
awesome.
Like he just didn't have that sitting on a fastball waiting for it.
Dom still got his
Listen-
fastball.
Hey, I couldn't let Sam have this without a fight.
Well, that leaves us with a 6-6 tie. West at 5. I didn't think we'd make it this far to have to come up with a
We need overtime.
need overtime. All right, here's an overtime. So obviously there were 3 cup races very early on, 1957, 64, and 65. No, we're not. Gotta let me finish. Gotta let
Oh.
me finish here. What I was going to say is that we're not going to include those, but when
Tiny
NASCAR
line.
start when when NASCAR started coming to Watkins Glen
Give
on
me
a
that
yearly
year.
basis was 1986. Does anybody have the guess of who won the first, I'll call it regular,
Tim Richmond.
Rusty Wall. Oh, damn it. He guessed it first. How was I supposed to do that?
All right, does anybody? Yeah, yes, it was Tim Richmond.
Say it was a jump ball situation. It was his
Yeah.
first.
Damn it.
Hey, if
We
you
need
guessed
buzzers. We need buzzers for this.
Yeah, I know.
Do
Listen,
I get bonus
I'm-
points for Tiny Lawn?
I mean, I would have gotten it wrong.
Um,
anyways.
if you had Buck Baker, Billy Wade, or Marvin Pants, you would have gotten bonus points.
Oh.
Ah.
All right, Sam, can you tell me what happened? What was significant about the 1991 Watkins Glen race?
No, you know I can't tell you that. What are we talking about?
Okay, can you remember the driver I said that drove for PPI in
PP.
2001?
It's still, again, no. I have no record. Dom won. He already said it. He said it first. He beat me.
Poor J.D. McDuffie.
I worked so hard. I worked so hard for that one.
They couldn't call that race, could they?
No, they just had to say he passed, and Dale Earnhardt's going to take the lead us to back to green. Man, poor J.D. McDuffie. Never finished on the lead lap once.
All right, well, I guess we'll give another one to Dom. Listen, you say that we need buzzers, but I'm working on a limited budget here. If we, if there's somebody out there that has buzzers that wants to sponsor us, get us some buzzers, I'd be more than happy to talk.
If you subscribe, you right now, if you subscribe, we will be able to afford buzzers, and we can stop the endless pandemonium that is watching this guy win. We don't need to watch him win anymore. If we had buzzers, that would fix this. Probably wouldn't. Subscribe anyways, even if you don't like buzzers. Let us know down in the comments. Do you like buzzers? I don't know.
I mean, all the listeners have as many wins in trivia this year as Steve.
Where am I catching a straight from? I'm the one that has to do the damn thing.
And that is what you get for making fun of Joey Logano.
No, I'd still do it. So
I'd fucking do it again.
Oh, man. Well,
Let's get this train back on the tracks.
Well, one last J.D. McDuffie. Poor guy. He did finish a race on his roof one time. He's got more races finished on his roof than on the lead lap. Poor guy. Poor guy.
I plead the vid.
Oh my! This is what happens when we record at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
East Coast time.
Yeah. We do this for you. We do this for the people. We're here for the people.
Oh, things are getting nutty here on the Ford Field Podcast. 1 hour into recording, and we still got to do underdog drivers. We still got to do our fantasy draft. Oh my goodness! Well, underdog drivers going into Watkins Glen. I mean, J.D. McDuffie would be an underdog driver for sure.
an underdog or an upside down?
Yeah, the stats say. Oh my goodness! We have lost all control here.
This is it. This might just be the final episode right here.
Oh man, I'm not gonna say what Wes said this time.
Dark.
Oh my god, underdog driver. I haven't even prepared for this one. One guy looking at the stats here.
Here's a guy.
Zane Smith. He's got an average finish of 11th in the last 2 Watkins Glen races. with finishes of 5th and 17th. I think, and it is with an average start of 26th, so he doesn't let a bad start hurt him in terms of racing. Zane will be one guy that'll keep the car in one piece, keep it on the track, and usually that'll be good enough to get into the top 20, and then you kind of let the cards, fall where they lay at the end. Watch out for Zane Smith.
My underdog driver, now that we're trying to get this thing back on track here, I'm actually going to go. I know we've talked about the struggles of Penske a little bit, but I am going to go with Austin Cindric. Historically, has been not a terrible road course racer at Watkins Glen in the 4 races that he's ran there. Hasn't finished worse than 16th, obviously. And, the flip side of that is he doesn't have a better finish than 10th, but I feel like that they can work the strategy, and they have actually been running much better this year than in years past. So I feel like that they'll have a good opportunity to capitalize on some stage points, and Austin Cindric is going to be my underdog this week.
Okay, so you know the Curry from the moon meme where it's Steph Curry, it's the green from the moon. I'm shooting from the logo. My underdog, Catherine Legg, for like a top 20. I'm not saying. I mean, we all know who's gonna win, so it doesn't really that we're not really picking underdogs to win, but to overperform. I'm shooting from the moon. I'm gonna say Catherine Legg will get a top 20.
And my underdog is going to be a little bit of a surprise, but I'm actually taking Denny Hamlin. Denny's finished. Let's see. I wanted to go back and look.
Wes, don't say that too loud because Dom will clown you for it. When Denny goes and finishes second, then, like he did a few years ago, because I got roasted so hard for picking Denny Hamlin because, Denny runs so terrible there, and then he went out and finished second, and I won fantasy that week.
Out of all of his road courses, this is the only one he's going to show up at in the top 10 if he decides to do so. He could also decide to run 28th and call that a good day. So, but no, he's finished 9 times here in the top 10 and 19 starts, so almost 50%. 6 top 5s. He's got the win in 2016 that we talked about. Obviously hasn't led the laps, but if he's smooth and consistent like he's been this year, I think Denny could definitely put himself in the top 10 and maybe finish like 7th or 8th, and that'd be good enough for just a solid points day. I don't know about a win, but I think that you can't count Denny out.
Listen, Steve, he's not picking them in fantasy. It's not.
Oh, hell no.
No. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, but no one passed anybody that race. He
Can
just had.
Can we
He was
back
on
it
a
up for
heater.
a second? He said he's not picking him in fantasy. Wes didn't miss a fucking beat. He goes, "Oh hell no, hell no!"
That ain't happening. I can already tell y'all, if somebody wants Denny, you can take him. But Dennis, you're staying out of my fantasy this week.
I'm gonna
Love
flip
you.
out of my
You're not
chair.
getting picked.
Steve, that race, the top, I think 11 drivers did not change position, or top 17 drivers did not change positions in the last 11 laps.
yeah, that's why I picked Denny that race.
Yeah, you just knew he was gonna get the pole, right?
I just knew it. Envisioned the future and saw it.
I mean, that was the year he won, I think, the pole at like 3 road courses. And Watkins Glen but then you go like 2023 in the chase race there. I mean, the dude wrecked about 47 times in a 90 lap race. And last year, I don't even remember what he did. It just doesn't matter. So that was our underdog drivers. I'm going with Zane Smith. Steve's going with Austin Cindric. Sam going with Catherine Legg. And Wes going with Denny Hamlin. Honestly, I could see Catherine Legg finishing ahead of Denny Hamlin this week. I don't even think that's even a hot take.
I think another actual pick, like what, if you're not going to look at somebody that's top 10 in points, he's right there. But Daniel Suarez, I don't think he's had the speed this year, even though he's got the finishes of like Carson Hocevar. But I think Daniel Suarez is pretty good here at Watkins Glen. He almost won here his rookie year.
Man, oh man, oh man. Well, speaking of the fantasy draft, let's get into it. Fantasy draft. I don't think we need to talk about the points from last week. I don't think
Yes,
that's
we do.
necessary.
Yes, we do. You had that
Too bad it's
monster.
on the board.
You had that monster week at Talladega. How did last week go?
I'm still thinking about Dega and how good that was. That's what I'm doing. Well, Sam leads the points with 1,024. Wes in second, gained some ground with 1,011, 13 back. Steve sits 75 back, and then myself, it really doesn't matter. 122
So,
122.
so since he
back.
doesn't want to say, I'll say it for the folks out there. He got a combined 10 points at Texas.
It
Larson
was
got 3, Bell 1, and
impressive.
Heim 6.
It was
Like that,
impressively bad.
that is impressively bad. I think I had set the record for lowest
You
with
had
33,
33.
33 at Coda. So you beat that by 23 points.
Shout
Well,
out Anthony for picking my team. I gave him shit talking to the guys earlier, but 86. That's a keep me afloat type day when you got the lead.
yeah. So this week the order is gonna roll. I believe we're starting with Steve.
Low hanging fruit, I'm going with Shane Van Gisbergen.
All right,
I'm
Wes.
I'm up next. And it's funny, Dom, before the podcast started, you said I'm probably going to take two guys, and those were the two guys I was looking at. Um, but one's finishing races right now, and the other's got some bad luck. So I got to take Chris Buescher.
I was hoping you would take Bell because I can't take Bell. Oh, Jesus. I was not prepared for this. I was hoping you'd take Bell and I'd take Busher. Let's go back to the stats here. Go to the big board. I will go with Tyler Reddick.
And that's a pretty nice pick. But you know who didn't take Christopher Bell last week? Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. I'm going to go with Christopher Bell. And then for the second of my wraparound, I'm going to go with Ross Chastain.
Ooh,
That's I'm gonna go with this time. Man. Oh, we'll go Connor Zillage.
Yeah,
I
that kind of
think
fell. That kind of fell. Okay, I'll hand up. I missed that one. That's on me.
I do think that Hendrick's going to turn it around, but I think it's going to actually be William Byron.
All right. I'm going to. Let's see. I took Briscoe last week. Can't do him. So I will go with. Man, all the heavy hitters are gone. Um, and it's trying to kind of prepare for Charlotte next week too. So that's kind of goes into it. I guess I'll do AJ. Let's see. I know that colleague's kind of struggling right now, but and then for my final pick, I'll go with um I'll try Zane Smith. Let's see what he'll do here.
I'll swing big this week. I don't do it a whole lot. Kyle Larson. He's still going to run good.
Now I'm looking two guys with brutal stats in their last three races here. Identical average finish. Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Average finish of 25.7 in the last three races at Watkins Glen, which is why I'm not picking Chase Elliott. But instead, I am going to go with. Yeah, I'm going to go with. You took Byron from me. I'm going to go Alex Bowman. He is pretty solid on these road courses.
And I forgot to shout him out, but shout out Alex Bowman for this past week. It's back to back top fives.
Fives, yeah.
Yeah, so Talladega, you can kind of be like, oh man, yeah, it's Talladega, but then go out at Texas and have some pace. Shout out Alex Bowman, welcome back. Um, I think I just trust Hendrick more than I trust Spire, so I'm gonna go. I gotta double check. You were, yeah, Chase Elliott. I gotta make sure he wasn't off the board because you were talking about it. But then I second guessed myself. That is that's good. That's good. I consider that a perfect game for me because I didn't pick someone that I wasn't able to pick. So
All right. Well, Sam, your points leader. He's going with Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Chase Elliott. Wes in second's going with Chris Buescher, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. Steve in third going with SVG, AJ Allmendinger, and Zane Smith. And myself, I'm going with Tyler Reddick, Connor Zilish, and Alex Bowman. That's our fantasy draft this week. Final thoughts, Watkins Glen. If this race is I mean, it's not going to be hard to beat the quality of last year. So just hoping the racing's just a tick better than it was last year. And hell, give me some chaos. And honestly, wouldn't be upset if we see some rain on Sunday.
I was gonna add in there just because I thought of it earlier when I chose the year 2001. Part of the reason, and this is for you three and also for everybody watching, but since you weren't able to watch races early, like when I was watching races 2001, 2000 NASCAR Classics, they just uploaded a Sights and Sounds video of the 2001 Watkins Glen race. That's part of the reason I actually picked it because if you go back and watch and the quality that they have in this HD widescreen version, what you're watching is essentially the way it felt for somebody like me to where you get to experience the color and the quality of what it would have been like to watch those races because it's so raw and so uncut. And that's like when I think back to those memories, it's almost like black and white and gray, even though that when I see a video like this is exactly what it encapsulates. And I feel like this is just a good way to get a representation of what Watkins Glen is as a whole. I know it's not the same cars. I know it's a different time, but obviously the roots and how Watkins Glen used to be is pretty close to exactly how the track is now. So definitely go back and watch there on the NASCAR Classics YouTube channel just to see and kind of experience what it feels like to kind of be there and watching it in that moment. In pure HD. But obviously, yeah, this weekend sucks it's in May, but we're still gonna have hopefully a solid race and hopefully some more contenders up front with SVG. I feel like the gap's gonna be a little more narrow this year.
I'm really excited for truck racing because in the truck race you've got SVG's doing the triple, uh, Zilich is doing the triple. Is AJ running the O'Reilly race? Because
He's running the truck race.
I know he's running the Ram. I didn't know if he was
Yeah.
doing triple or just two,
Mhm.
but those three will be fun to watch in that truck race. I can imagine that's going to be a whole lot of fun beating and banging. Also, Hocevar is in the truck race again, and then along with all the truck regulars. So I've really enjoyed what the trucks have been putting out this year. So I'm excited to watch some truck racing as well.
Yeah, you took it right out of words right out of my mouth. I was gonna watch SVG and Zilich going back and forth. They're both doing the triple header, so it's gonna be fun to watch those two go back and forth, and hopefully they put on a good show in all three races because those are two really, really, really good road course racers.
We've got ARCA as well. ARCA is on Friday, and I just noticed a few names. Caden Honeycutt's in the race in the 17. Patrick Starpoli, who's full time in the O'Reilly series, is in the 51. Andrew Ranger's back in the series. And a big name I wanted to mention, I think her name is pronounced Destiny. I don't think it's Destiny, it's Destiny Spurlock. She is going to be in ARCA, but she's also making her Truck Series debut. Um, a former drag racer. She's super talented, has a huge following on social media. She's going to be, I feel like, a great addition. Now, she's in a slow truck, but I think that just her persona and her energy and her vibe is really good, I think, for the series and just having a great new personality in the sport. It's going to be nice for her and just to see another female compete, but also just a really talented all around driver. Brent Cruz in the one, Jackson Lee in the two, Connor Mosack in the 7. Tony Breidinger is back in the 20 with Natalie Decker in the 22. So 3 females in that race. Yeah, so pretty solid. And then you've got like Josh Blicky, Preston Pardis back, Alex LeBay back, and O'Reilly. And then underdog pick for Sam, Catherine Legg, and the 78 for Cup. 66 is Josh Blicky. So just to highlight some bigger names that we're going to have this weekend.
I think this is SVG's first truck start on a road course, if I'm not mistaken. I think he only ran one truck race back in 23 when at IRP.
That was it.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to see if things translate. Last thing here, just simple yes or no. SVG wins on Sunday.
Yes.
No.
Yes, and I say he goes at least 2 out of 3, if not 3 out of 3.
You know what? Trackhouse has been struggling, and I think they will hold SVG back. I'll say no as well. And if anything, Zilich would win for Trackhouse if a Trackhouse car wins Sunday. But I think you got to watch Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell and Chris Buescher as guys to beat there. So, yeah, long run here. Combined a little Texas with some Watkins Glen and some JD McDuffie. So, rest in peace, JD McDuffie. We would have ended the race if we were in control of it that day in 1991 instead of letting Dale Earnhardt lead the field to the green flag after announcing your passing. So, with that said, for Wes, Sam, Steve, I'm Dom, and we'll talk to you next week after Watkins Glen.